Pro-Chancellor and Chairman of the 13th Governing Council of Bayero University, Kano State, Professor Ibrahim Gambari, has charged government and relevant management of Nigerian Higher Institutions to take the leading role in transforming the nation's university, polytechnics, and colleges of education to be in uniform with 21st century so as to reduce the number of graduating students in the labor market. He made the call at a conference organized by the Nigerian Defense Academy and Dakota Wesleyan University titled The State of Higher Education in Nigeria, held in the nation's capital, Abuja. Professor Gambari said the importance of education in the development of a nation cannot be overemphasized in a bid to addressing the current challenges facing the nation. Research shows that historical data and chart on employment rate in Nigeria was updated in March 2020. The chart shows that in the third quarter of 2018, employment rate decreased to 76.90% from 77.30% in the second quarter of 2018. Prior to this, these experts blamed the state of the nation's educational setting, believing that if the country should get it right, urgent decision needs to be taken in order to address human capital and sustainable development and advancement in security architecture, especially for peace, democracy, and rights of the citizens. Still speaking, Professor Ibrahim Gambari noted that the era of education for education's sake or for government employment is over. Hence, changing the narratives is paramount to building global competitiveness for economic growth. According to him, acquiring education is not just literacy and means of livelihood, but seeking to produce an intellectual individuals who can stand out in complex situations.
Education. I make the first point, which is that the era of education for education's sake or for government employment has run its course. In these challenging times, what is now required for survival and for competitiveness in a globalizing world is education. And education for peace, education for citizenship, education for entrepreneurship. So that education is seen or should be seen not just about acquiring literacy and acquisition of means of livelihood, but the process of producing a complete individual who is capable of making the right choices in complex situations. It is the foundation around the multi-track approach to building citizenship, peace, and development in an unending process which that it should revolve around. And if you step back, what is development? Examining deeply, we discover that development is not just about economic growth and fundamentals. It's rather about building a society in which the basic necessities of life for individuals and societies are provided for in a manner that relates to their immediate environment and in a sustainable and inclusive manner. This could only be made possible through education. Education in the context of the Sustainable Development Goals. There are 17 of them, which the international community has adopted as an agenda, and all these are supposed to be achieved hopefully by the year 2030. Now, having made the argument that a strong relationship exists between education, generally speaking, and peace and development in society, access to education has to be a question of the highest national priority. And I speak about access to education, particularly access to higher education, from a vantage point. I'm privileged to serve as the chairman of the Governing Council and the Pro-Chancellor of Bayero University in Kano. And I know that for every qualified applicant that is admitted by the university, we have to turn back about 5. So we're only taking just 1/5 of those who are qualified and who have applied to join the university. I'll talk a bit more about the Bayero University Kano later on in my presentation. So access is of extreme importance. Yet there's a huge gap between demand and supply of educational opportunity, most especially higher education, in our country and in Africa generally. With an estimated population of 200 million people, only 1% of Nigerians are in the university. Even more worrisome is the utilitarian or reductive approach to education in Nigeria, which we must move away from. We must move away from the perception that education of an individual is a meal ticket, a tool only to conquer hunger. A practice whereby students are formed only to be able to provide for their daily bread while negating the holistic approach in education, whereby there is that total formation of the human person. The latter is what we should move towards. Ironically, the same students, when they come out of our institution of higher learning to enter into labor employment, the labor market, many of them are found as unemployed. So the management of Nigerian higher education have to take the lead in transforming the universities, the polytechnics, and colleges of education to be in tandem with the 21st century by graduating students who are employable and who are capable of addressing current challenges which the nation is facing. In fact, they must also try to become employers of laborers themselves, rather than to be waiting to be employed. 5 features of this approach, whereby higher education needs to do the following. 5. The first one, to recognize their uniqueness as kinds of global institutions. See, global institutions. Uniqueness in the context of being a global institution. Second, to adopt and innovate. Third, to embrace their cultural, socio-economic, and physical setting. Fourth, to focus on the individual. And fifth, to become effective partners in global development. This fits into my own conceptual framework developed in another context of concentric circles of engagement, from the individual to the national, to the regional, to the continent, and to the global. And my emphasis that the role of the individual and institutions are crucial to the achievement of the nexus between peace, democracy, and development, which I have underscored. That there are basically 3 qualities that make higher education great. There are quality teachers, enabling environment for learning, and international competitiveness. I want to repeat. Quality teachers, enabling environment for learning, and international competitiveness. But the reality on ground shows that there's a serious decline in the quality of higher education in our country. Consequently, despite the fact that we now have 174 universities, 152 colleges of education, 123 polytechnics across the nation, Nigeria spends billions of naira to study abroad. In fact, Nigerians have made education to be a source of revenue for countries such as Ghana and Malaysia. While these countries will send education while these countries spend a lot of money to invest in higher education in Nigeria, we somehow still have not met the UNESCO requirement of 26% of our annual budget to be put on higher education, on education. In the 2020 budget, I think only 5.2% is allocated to education. This has to change. In addition to funding, which is critical, there's a few other dimensions that we have to address in raising the level of education, particularly higher education in our country. And again, my experience as Pro-Chancellor and Chairman of the Governing Council of Bayero University in Kano shows these other dimensions. First, apart from funding, the ASU, the Association of Senior Staff in Nigerian Universities, has to take a look inwards. They have to check abuse by some of their own faculty members, sexual harassment, intimidation, and some of the poor quality of teaching research on the part of their members. So it should not be about fighting for privileges, which of course they need to do to be able to create a conducive environment for doing their work, but also they have to look inward and weed out the bad eggs among them. So the quality of instruction is one of the priorities that ASU itself, apart from the management of the universities, has to concentrate on. The second is what I consider to be the low ratings of Nigerian universities in the global ranking system. And to correct that, in my view, the universities have to put a lot of emphasis on research, because it is through research, cutting-edge research, that we begin to find new solutions to addressing old problems of underdevelopment, of conflicts, and of poor human security in our countries. And also enable our faculties to compete for global awards, Nobel Prizes in all aspects of human endeavors. We have to be able to attract faculties from across the globe. We ought to also be able to attract students to come and study in our Nigerian universities. Only through excellence in research, this attraction of global faculty and also global citizens, global population of students in our universities, that we can improve that ranking. My point of view is to elevate education to become a principal tool for building those trilogies that I mentioned: peace, democracy, and development. And in achieving this, developing a new educational curriculum which emphasizes science and technology, which emphasizes entrepreneurship, which emphasizes the arts and social studies, becomes imperative. This way, we will then be building a new Nigeria, and by saving Nigeria, we will be contributing to building the Africa we want. In order to give concrete expression to the new perspective of education for peace, democracy, and development, I wish to propose the consideration of the establishment of and prompt inauguration of a national commission to redesign Nigeria's educational system, particularly higher education, which will lead to a national dialogue in bringing our educational system to meet the challenges of the 21st century and beyond, with Africa as a key focus of our country, in order to achieve the Africa that we want and achieve the African Unity's own Agenda 2063, because by the year 2063, the African Union will have been 100 years in existence.
Also, the Economic Emeritus, University of Wisconsin System, Director, Council on African Security and Development, Professor John Ifediora, hinted that it is the responsibility of the government to providing the needed infrastructural development that will enhance a conducive atmosphere for learning, whereas urging the relevant authorities to create enabling environment so as to attract investment for sustainable goals.
The worst thing we want to keep harboring in our system is to believe that the government is responsible for creating jobs. No. The government's role is to provide you with the infrastructure you need, the education system that you need in terms of state-sponsored institutions, road facilities, electricity, but it is now left up to you with your training, your background, your education to go into the private sector and create jobs. To utilize what you've learned. Governments are not in the business of creating jobs, only when it is necessary. And so what we find ourselves doing is to hang up our stethoscopes, hang up our law books, and look for contracts. And we keep going towards that fixed pie that gets smaller and smaller and smaller until inevitable happens in a few years' time where we no longer need fossil fuel to drive our cars or to power our generators, in which case then we have a problem. And that is the more reason why we really need to have a strong educational system that will impart the knowledge, create that space that our young ones need to come up with that.
In the same vein, a retired Deputy Controller General and Head of Health and Session Welfare Board of the Nigerian Prison Service, Dr. Ekpedeme Odom, stresses that having a good tertiary institution requires effective primary and secondary education, thus calling for collaborative effort to deal with the meanings.
The same way Harvard University is online is the same way we should be online. If you check the statistics, we have everybody sitting here has mobile phones as big as the screen of television. If you don't have effective primary school and effective secondary school, we don't need crystal ball. We don't need rocket science. If all of us sitting here are prepared to start, can somebody tell me that the amount of money we have in Nigeria, why every primary school is not like in Nigeria, it's not like the primary school in England and America? We must pull our acts together. And pulling our acts together, you, the young people, you must be ready to go to university and do right, and you have it. Believe me, there's no talent elsewhere in the world like in Nigeria. But we must be ready so that we can have effective tertiary education. We cannot walk again, that's what we're doing. We must be leaping. The fast trend of development is here. If we don't jump on it, it will leave us behind.
They argue that there is a strong nexus between education and societal development. Hence, it should be treated as a top national priority so as to bridge the gap of demand and supply chain while curbing inequality in the country. I'm Vincent Okushi, Quality Television.
Audio Jungle.